Hey guys, welcome to FM Driving School, and as promised, we're gonna go through the 6 proposals that dvsa is planning to announce to change the driving test or the layout to it. Let's go for it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and go to our site fmdrivingschool.co.uk. We're gonna list everything that you need to know up on there. Okay, so why is this important? Because at this stage right now, it's only a consultation process stage right now, so you can actually give your opinion. Go online and you can actually vote and give your opinion on it. So what are the changes? Let's see. Okay, so the first one is, let me just move it down. Encourage learner drivers to be better prepared when they are taking the car test. So what does that mean? Does that mean that we have to give you a limited amount of hours before you take your driving test? Let's find out. Okay, summary of this proposal. We're proposing that people will need to wait, oh here we go, 28 working days before being able to book another car driving test after failing one. So previously it was 10 days. If you were to fail your driving test, you couldn't do your test in 10 days. Now they're saying 28 days. This will reduce the number of people waiting, attempting the test when they're not ready, because they would know they would have to wait longer to be able to take it again if they fail. Mean that people will fail, have more time to take a further training before taking the test again. So it's quite an important reason, this part here, because if you're going to do the test and you know you're not ready, and the fact is if you were to fail you have to wait another 28 days, would you then as a student do that test, or would you wait, would you delay doing the driving test, delay booking it until you are ready? So that's one of the main reasons behind it. And also it gives other people a chance, those who are in the waiting list now, to it frees up people who are ready for the test, and those who are not ready can cancel their test, so therefore reducing the waiting list. So comment below if you think this is a good idea or not. So one of the biggest changes to the driving test coming up this year, 2022 or 2023, is a proposal that if you were to fail your driving test, you'd have to wait 28 days. 28 days before you can book another driving test. Previously, it's been 10 days. So DVS are now planning to change it to 28 days. What do you think? Is that a good idea, or do you think they're wrong to change it? Comment below your thoughts. People who fail the driving test currently have to wait 10 working days before they can book another test. We know from recent research that driving instructors are very busy. Many have long waiting lists for lessons. They might have restricted availability to provide extra training for learner drivers who fail the test, which could cause the learner drivers to take the test again with no further training. This could then lead to them failing the test again. We're proposing that people who fail their car driving test will need to wait 28 working days before being able to book another test. This change could only apply to car driving tests. Okay, the current rules would stay the same for other types of driving tests such as motorcyclists, HGV, heavy goods vehicle, bus driving tests, theory tests as well, and ADI tests. Okay. While we're proposing this, we think making the change will reduce the number of people who attempt the test when they're not ready. This is because they'll be less likely to attempt the test if they know they have to wait longer to rebook after failing. With about half of all driving tests currently being failed, it suggests that many people take the test when they are not ready. This has been the case for a number of years now. So 50.5% pass rate for car driving tests between April and September 2021. So if you go through the pass rate, you can see 1 in 2 people pass a driving test. So the average is 50.5%, and that's the latest figures, April to September 2021. So here we have it. April 2022, March 2021, 49.8%. So it has been steadily increasing the pass rate, but still 50% of people do fail the driving test. Okay, let's carry on. We're also thinking that making this change will give people who fail more time to take further training before taking their test again. This will help even more when waiting times are lower and more tests are available at shorter notice. Okay, questions about this proposal. To what extent do you agree or disagree that the period before which an unsuccessful candidate can apply for further tests should be extended from 10 to 28 days? Strongly agree, neither, agree, disagree. So comment below your opinions. Okay, if you're a learner driver, please say to what extent you agree or disagree with the following statement. This measure would encourage me to only book my test when ready, even if waiting times will remain the same as now. Okay, so strongly agree, agree, neither agree nor disagree, disagree or strongly agree. Okay, this measure would encourage me to only book my test when ready, even when waiting times are reduced. Strongly agree, agree, neither agree nor disagree, disagree or strongly disagree. So those are the questions that dvsa are asking you guys. Go to the site, comment below. If dvsa feel that think they think to extend it to 28 days is going to help you guys, then they will carry on doing so. Okay, so the other proposal dvsa are thinking of introducing, let's go for number 2: reduce the number of car driving test appointments that are wasted. Okay, summary of this proposal: we're proposing that people who need to move or cancel their driving test at least at least 10 full working days before the appointment to avoid losing their test fee, rather than the current 3 working days. So this will give more chance for appointments to be used by someone else, and potentially make up to 117,000 appointments available every year based on the cancellations we saw between April and December 2021. What currently happens at the moment: people need to move or cancel their test at least 3 working days before the appointment to avoid losing their fees. We call this short notice cancellation period. However, this causes many appointments to be moved or cancelled right at this deadline. Many of those appointments are then not booked by anyone else, because people do not have the time to make necessary arrangements at such short notice. Even if an appointment is moved or cancelled with more than 3 days notice, it can still be hard for that appointment to be reused by someone else if it's still within a week or so, which I agree with. Imagine you're a student, you suddenly get a cancellation in 3 days time. Would your instructor have enough time, or you the learner have enough time, to rearrange your plans, your work schedule, your university, school or college schedules, in order to fit enough lessons for you to be prepared for the driving test? So this makes a lot of sense. We're proposing that people will need to move or cancel their test at least 10 full working days before the appointment, to avoid losing their fee. Okay. We would continue to use our discretion on forcing this in such cases such as illnesses or bereavement. This change could only apply to car tests. Okay, it will not affect. It was not going to affect the theory test again. The downside could be, maybe you want the extra 10 days or another 7 days in order to see how you progress with your instructor, and in the last few days you're going to decide if you want to cancel it or not. So that could be the downside. Maybe you needed those extra 7 days in order to decide if you're going to be ready, and then now you don't have it. Now you have to change it 10 days before. Okay, why we're proposing this, we're proposing this change to encourage people to move or cancel the appointment with more notice if they think they're not ready for the test. This will allow the appointments to be used by someone else. We know that the policy of losing fee for short notice change or cancellation is effective. When we've suspended the policy of losing the fee during the pandemic, 3.8% of tests were cancelled within the short notice period. When the policy was reintroduced, this reduced to 2.7% of tests being cancelled within the short notice period. So the percentages of tests cancelled at short notice: when people did not lose their fee, cancellation at short notice was higher. When people did lose their fee, cancellation for short notice was 2.7%. So we expect more people who are not ready to take their test will move or cancel their test at least 10 working days before their appointment. This makes it more likely that someone else can then use their appointment. This chart shows the number of tests that have been cancelled by learner drivers between 22nd of April and 14th of December 2021. So the number of tests between 0 to 3 days, 36,000 roughly; 4 to 10 days, 42,000; 11 days before, 63,000. So clearly you can see students are quite more likely to cancel their tests in the 10 days before. So questions about the proposals: to what extent do you agree or disagree that we would change the short notice cancellation period for car driving tests from 3 working days to 10 working days? Again, strongly agree, neither agree or disagree or strongly disagree. Let's go to number 3: collect better data about how our driving instructors prepare learner drivers. So some were proposing the driving instructors would be legally required to display their ADI badge or training driving instructor registration on the windscreen of the car when they bring people to the driving test. This would encourage driving instructors to only bring people for the driving test if they're confident they will pass, help us improve our ability to identify and prioritize which driving instructors most need help and support to provide high quality training, mean that we can treat all driving instructors bringing pupils for the test consistently. What currently happens, the law currently says that driving instructors must display their registration certificate in their windscreen when they're charging money or monies for driving lessons. However, the law does not say they must also display their certificate when they bring people for the driving test. At the start of driving test, our driving examiners record the driving instructor's personal reference number if the certificate is displayed. The driving test can then be lined back to the driving instructor. We use this data to help us decide when driving instructors should take a standards check. This is where specifically a qualified dvsa examiner watches a driving instructor giving a normal driving lessons, so they can assess their ability to provide high quality training. I mean, if you go to my channel, you should see a video coming up very soon, or if it hasn't come out yet, it will be coming out. Of me passing my check test. So this is a test of driving instructors, myself included, where we get examined by someone else to see how we teach. So I literally recently passed that test, literally about a few weeks ago. So there's a video coming out very soon. So obviously this keeps us driving instructors in check. They see how we teach. If there's any flaws, any mistakes, they correct our mistakes, just to help us improve our job, I guess. Okay, we use these indicators for rolling 12 months to decide the average number of driving force per test, average number of serious force per test, percentages test, where the driving examiners had to take physical actions in the interest of public safety, overall pass rate. Even though the law does not require it, most driving instructors do voluntarily display their registration certificate. We have also encouraged more driving instructors to display the certificate. However, some still choose not to. Our driving examiners tell us that some driving instructors may remove their certificate if they're less confident that the learner driver will pass the test. This means that the test outcome is not included in the driving instructor's performances data. What we're proposing that the driving instructor could be legally required to display their registration certificate in the windscreen when the car is being used for the driving test. Driving instructors who refuse to display the certificate would then face the possibility of having their approved to teach removed. We're exploring the range of legislative and non-regulatory options to introduce this policy. Why we're proposing this? We're proposing this change because some instructors refuse to voluntarily, if I can get the words right, display their registration certificate. We want to treat all driving instructors fairly and consistently. To do this, we need all driving instructors to display their certificate. We think that this will encourage more instructors who do not display their certificate to only bring people for their driving test if they're confident they are ready to safely drive on their own. It will also help us improve our ability to identify and prioritize which driving instructors we see for standards checks. Okay, so that's really for us instructors out there. I guess that won't affect you. Let me just see the question they asked though. To what extent do you agree or disagree that ADS should be required to display their certificate during the test? Okay, let's see what else is there. Number 4, give learner drivers better information about instructors. So this is quite long. Let me just go to the main one. Update when and how someone's eyesight. Okay, this might affect you guys. What we'll do, guys, is we'll pause it here because there's a lot of information coming out from dvsa, and we'll make another video and just finish off the final 3 pieces of proposals that dvsa are planning to do. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe with FM Driving School. Go to our site fmdrivingschool.co.uk where we're going to list everything that you need to know.